want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then, what is this? Says, squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack, but then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day. Right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you're going between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally, because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order, and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. We in the building, so on top of my game, I'm coming in through the ceiling. What up, though? What up? We had an awesome live stream last night with me, Quentin, my dog Slimmy, and we was getting it in on After Hours. So if you guys have not watched that, the timestamps have been uploaded onto that platform on After Hours, and we back at it tonight. So it should be fun. What up, D? D came through, gave us a little bit of content. But we here, man. We here. We don't miss. We get it in. We make sure we take care of business. And we rock out. What up, Mike Jones? What up, Tam? What up, Slimmy? What up, Kate Cooper? All of my friends. Quentin is in the building. Quentin be sleep. Quentin is an old man in real life. I'll be looking at him. I'll be like, I wonder how far Quentin is going to make it tonight. But we back here tonight. We back at it. Kojak is in the building. Your car, what up? All of my friends and family. Make sure y'all get that Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, and a free gift. If you're rocking with any other Tiege pack, you're really missing out. You need to rock out with the group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. So we got that Pete, that Tiege. Quentin said he got them pics. What up, Lori? Thank you, baby. Man, I love y'all so much. How y'all feel? Before we get started, because we got a lot to cover today, and I'm going to try to keep it within 2 hours. And I got some announcements that I want to make for some changes. That's starting next week. How y'all feeling today? What up, PT? What up, Island Style? What up? One word in the chat. Let me get a general idea of how y'all feeling today. You new here, Rezon? Oh, man, you in for a treat. I will say that we are a great community. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You guys need to tap in with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Let's get to it. What up, Trap? What up? What up? What up? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. We got some great things. I am officially announcing the next meetup, in-person meetup, and the day, and the weekend, and all of that, all right? So let me see what's happening in the chat. Kay Cooper says, what up? Trap says, we love you too. Dion Sardine says, great, focus, rested. What else we got? Good morning, Chasers. No running red lights, family. Yes, I did. Lori, listen, let me tell you something, Lori. I drunk that Laportier on Wednesday, and that truth juice started kicking in, and I was like, what is going on? Next thing you know, we start deep diving into some subjects that got a little bit uncomfortable. So let me put Lori's Laportier that she sent me up for a bit. Tech Coach Ralph says, focus, gigantic, stoic. What up, chat? Greetings to Will the CNA. Great, easy. Catching up, said Kojak. Blessed, feeling awesome, thankful, motivated, rich, pushing. You ready for your man to come home? Woo! What up, Binka Bink? Binka Bink says, I'm ready for my man to come home. Blessed, never grateful, says Tam Renee. Magnificent, says Twisted Pup TV. Determined, vacation. AD, how am I feeling today? I'm feeling like I got to catch a flight later on tonight. So I will be doing the after hours tonight. It'll probably be around 11 p.m. Eastern, something like that, because I got to catch a flight to another city. So I'm going to be doing it live from a hotel room. But we still don't miss. We don't miss ever. Yo, says Messy Mathematician. Working, says Elucid Experience. Bless. Broke, not broke. Feeling like money. Beach mode. Hustling. Gonna reach out for that coaching call soon. Let me see. Bless. Bankrupted. Angelic Storm says bankrupted. Not bankrupted. We got to get you some money, baby. What up? All right, so let's get the rest of the housekeeping out of the way, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the show. We got a lot to cover today. Let's see. Again, we're doing after hours tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Seriously, you need to join the Bag Chasers, especially if you're broke. You got a lot of work to do. What else we got? So next week, I'm going to try to pilot some new things. I'm going to switch it up. I think we're going to keep the normal Millionaire Morning Show at the time that we always do it, around 11:45 Eastern a.m. And then a little bit earlier than that, I'm thinking about trying out some new segments, primarily geared around money and technology, what's happening in the industry, stuff like that. I don't want to give away too many of my thoughts, though, because we reserve a lot of that for Stock Club and the Bag Chasers. So we're going to try some new segments. Room 9 launches next Monday, this upcoming Monday. So Room 9, we're going to get that popping. No live streaming, all pre-recorded content, because I want to try some things and I want to test some things out. After hours is already popping, and we're going to get it in. Let me go ahead and make sure that I acknowledge a few of the early super chatters and the Cash Appers. Mike That Dude, shout out to Mike That Dude, always holding us down on Cash App. Thank you, my friend. Ali Collins, what up, Ali? Over there on Cash App, getting it, and I appreciate you also, big dog. I also want to acknowledge Tia Marie, says Three Stooges show had me crying laugh. I might name that the Three Stooges show. Me, Quentin, and Slimmy. Yo, I went to bed last night rolling. Man, y'all are crazy. And then you throw in 2K on some of them nights too. Man, it is absolutely interesting. It is an interesting dynamic. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started with the show. We got a lot to cover and some things that we want to really get off. Shout out to Fanny P. Shout out to Tia Marie. Shout out to Messy Mathematician. Kay Cooper, Trini, Yakar, everybody. Shout out to everybody. Y'all ready to get started? All right, y'all know what we do. Let's get it popping. Quick hits, y'all. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to each individual subject, but we just want to make sure that we keep you guys up to date of what's happening out in these streets, man. All right. First things first on Quick Hits, a former Red Sox player, Boston Red Sox player, along with 26 other people, was arrested as a part of a child sex crime sting. Take a look. Y'all better stay out of these kids' DMs, bro.
Live tonight, more than 24 men arrested for child sex crimes during a 4-day sting operation.
We do not want our kids being victims of these predators.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Heather Crawford.
And I'm Anthony Austin. Our top story on this Monday, among the 27 arrested, a former Major League Baseball player, a Duval County Public Schools employee, a Mayo Clinic respiratory therapist.
Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters announcing these arrests during a press conference this afternoon. Zach Wilcox was there and is on your side live tonight outside of JSO headquarters. And Zach, most of those men who were arrested, they were arrested when they thought they were actually going to meet children, right?
Yeah, Heather, they thought that they were meeting up with the children that they'd been talking with online and that they were heading to their predetermined location. Only when they got there, they found out the children they were talking to weren't in fact children at all. They were police officers who were there to arrest them.
Y'all still getting the Chris Hansen treatment? Y'all ain't learned y'all lesson yet after all of the stuff that we seen online. We seen Chris Hansen on MSNBC to catch a predator. We didn't seen this happen all day long, but for some reason, y'all still think that y'all sweet. Y'all still out here operating egregiously, chasing these little kids. And this is one of the reasons why y'all got to protect y'all children, protect y'all family, protect people, because I don't know if it's just happening in Florida at an alarming rate or if other cities and states are not as vigilant as trying to catch these guys. But for y'all to put your whole life, career, reputation, and everything that you ever represented on the line, your marriage on the line, to go in there and chase some little kids is insane to me, bro.
In their minds, they knew they were meeting minors and they were going to a specific location to have sexual intercourse with kids.
Over the course of 4 days in late April, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested 24 men, one by one, at a house they'd set up in traffic stops and at gas stations across the city.
And they do it on purpose to embarrass y'all. Y'all out there riding in your big trucks, your Silverados, your Sierra 1500s. You got your doctor's clothes on, your nurse's clothes. They even got a former MLB player that they arrested. Y'all some sick dudes, bro. Absolutely sick, man.
Investigators say each of them thought they were meeting up with a child they'd been talking with online, but instead were handcuffed.
Nasty.
Why?
They arrested another 3 people.
Let's see who we got here. Oh, snaps. Who is this woman? Third from the right in the upper right-hand corner. Y'all got women out here too? Look at these nasty dudes. And you know what's so funny? If you look at the people with these bruises on their face and stuff, like you see the woman in the upper right-hand corner. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, to be honest with you. And then you see the guy third from the left at the top, the white guy, the young guy, got bruises on his face. That's because they was getting tackled. It was getting tackled in that front yard. Bottom third from the right, he got tackled. Middle row all the way to the right, he got tackled. Look at these filthy monsters. All races, creeds. Imagine a grown man pulling up with dreads to come and meet your little kid. Unreal, bro.
People later, bringing the total to 27.
As you can see from these photographs, these men run the gamut of ages, backgrounds, and races. But I'm just very happy that they're off the street.
Some of the men arrested had significant profiles in the community, like Austin Maddox, a pitcher for the 2017 Boston Red Sox, or Malcolm McGee, a sergeant with the Army National Guard. First Coast News crime and safety expert Mark Bachman says the development in technology has made it easier for predators to hide in plain sight and easier for them to be caught.
As the internet evolved and all these different chat rooms, databases, websites came up and they were used. And they've just been exploited over the last decade. It's all captured. You have all of it, you memorialize it, you bring it in.
According to arrest reports, officers use websites like Skip the Games, Whisper, and No Strings Attached Jacks.
Man, let me tell you the honest to God truth. I have never heard of any of these platforms a day in my life. I've never heard of Skip the Games. I've never heard of No Strings Attached. I guess that's a Jacksonville thing. What the heck is Scout, Meet Me, and Whisper? All of it sounds sketchy. Every single one of these things, bro. Look, if you look at these names, anybody that decides that they want to go over to any of these sites that got these names on it, I got to question your integrity, bro. Look at these names. What's up, Mika? Oh, yeah, Mika going to be on tonight. Skip the Games. That sound predatory as hell. No Strings Attached. Jacksonville. You mean they got multiple different ones? Scout. Scout with a K. Meet Me and Whisper. Hey, little mama, let me see. Let me see my, ooh. Where do you see? Like this. This sounds sketchy as hell. All of this junk is sketchy, bro.
Jacksonville to start talking with the men. Sheriff Waters says the arrests serve as a reminder for parents to stay vigilant.
It's very important for us to set as many protections on our computers and to pay attention to what our kids are doing.
That's nasty. Listen, be careful. Make sure y'all protect y'all kids. And congratulations to all of the different people in the Scouts that's out here doing the great work. We appreciate y'all. In addition to that, a cop come home and find his house burglarized. Woman runs out naked. A bunch of sex toys in there. Is wild out here in these streets. Check it out.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Anthony Antoine. Topping the rundown here tonight. A couple is behind bars, accused of breaking into an officer's home multiple times, attempting to steal a shotgun and leaving behind some nefarious items. Fox 26's Abigail Dye is here in studio joining us live. Tell us all the details. Abigail.
Well, Anthony, you cannot make this stuff up. Houston police arrested James Frazier and Brianna Miles, you see here behind me, in this case. Now, they're accused of breaking into the home of a Bel Air cop on multiple occasions. Now, the cop says that he wasn't living there at the time. This is a home he had up for sale, and it was staged out. Now, that officer says that he caught Frazier in that house holding his shotgun. He says he took the shotgun and Frazier ran. But then he noticed another visitor.
I go in there, start yelling out some more, and that's when the woman comes out. I believe her name is Brianna Miles. She comes out naked, and she's her hands up, and then she yells out. She's like, sorry, and then she just runs out.
Let me tell you something, bro. First of all, he lucked up because he got in there before they can have squatters' rights. You know what I'm saying? Second thing is, I'm pretty sure that place smelled like Badussi. I'm 1,000% sure that place stank. Absolutely stank.
Records do identify that woman as Brianna.
Y'all hit anything, bro.
Miles. Both suspects were eventually arrested.
Tattoos on the face is a sure sign of criminal activity.
And this officer says they left behind multiple items in his home, including sex toys. A weird case, no doubt. The prosecutor on it saying that Frazier has a lengthy criminal history and should be considered a danger.
The aggravating nature of this case is that he had a gun in the home while the complainant was there, and thank goodness that nothing happened to anybody, and we're all here to, everyone's alive is the most important thing. But now we have to consider how the ramifications of what this defendant could do in our community if we were to let him out on bond. And that's one of the reasons why I approached to raise the bond today.
I told you it was a weird one. The prosecutor did get that bond raised on Frazier. It's now $150,000. The interview.
Y'all some wild boys out here knocking down some of these chicks, man. These chicks don't even look like they in their right mind. They look slow. They look slow. Bro, people that don't have resources and don't have nothing better to do, you know what they do? They commit crimes and they have children. People that are bored, they commit crimes and then they have children. Last but not least, a mother and a son has been arrested on Chicago's West Side for an attempted carjacking. Check it out.
Only on two, mother and son duo in police custody. Police say they were behind a crime spree in Humboldt Park. As CBS 2's Sabrina Franza reports, the woman's son is just 16 years old.
Police sources tell us that this mother and son were both together for the duration of the.
Where's Mugo? Who is this white woman on Chicago's West Side with that long hair and them nips? Hey, ladies, let me tell y'all something as I always get distracted because Mugo ain't here today. I guess she had the night off. I know a lot of women like to be insecure about the size of their nips. Let me tell you something. We don't care. That is one of the few things that we tripping about. Don't be apprehensive and don't be self-conscious because you got your little nip. We cool with that. We ain't even tripping off no nips. That's actually, to be honest with y'all, that's more of a white man thing. White men like jugs and all of that stuff. Black guys, we ain't even really tripping off that. If you got them, you got them. If you don't, you don't. We ain't tripping. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Just cover up your little A cups. We good with that as long as you stay fit, trim, and you don't have, no nips, and you weigh 300 pounds, Quentin. That would be crazy. But no, man, ain't nobody tripping off y'all. Hey, flaunt your nips. We like them. You love them. We like them. Don't get self-conscious. Don't start going under the knife trying to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? I know that that's a white man thing. That's not really a black man thing. All right, let's continue. Sabrina Franza.
This entire spree before they were both arrested. This is where the police pursuit ended. A shopping center just before most stores opened for the day around 8 a.m. yesterday. Police tell us a few hours earlier, the 16-year-old teenager tried to take a 50-year-old woman's car by force. This was on the 3200 block of West Fulton. Then we're told the same teen, with his mom in tow, threatened a 31-year-old man and a 32-year-old woman at gunpoint and damaged a 28-year-old woman's vehicle before fleeing the scene. Our sources tell us the teen ended up at this shopping center.
Wait. Are y'all really gonna sit here and debate with me on this? Let me tell y'all something. I seen y'all knock down some wild mamakusas out here. I mean, when I talk about some overweight dragons, did y'all just see that last segment that we just did on Quick Hits, the one that was just before this? Y'all knocking down some crazy stuff. Please, y'all are not walking away from a woman just because she got A cups. I have not seen it. I know that y'all talk a lot of nonsense. Everybody got these high standards. Everybody only knocked down Miami 10s inside of this place. But let's be clear. Y'all are not walking away from a woman that is fit, trim, got her hair nice, makeup done, breath smelling good, smell good, got a nice disposition, and you walking away from her just because she ain't got a... Man, listen, bro. Y'all say a lot of wild stuff, but y'all can't fool me. I know who y'all are. I see y'all in real life. I know what y'all talking about. Y'all tell me what the real is. I meet people every single day. Every single day, I meet people every single day. Y'all not gonna try to sell me that y'all just out here just killing everything and killing the game. Stop it. Stop. Next thing you know, y'all gonna tell me y'all been walking away from women because they ain't got their nails done too, right? Right.
Center where he threw his gun and a concealed carry holder intervened, trying to stop the teen from fleeing. We're told the 16-year-old's mom drove off at one point and came back only to see her son being arrested. He's now charged with 3 felony counts, one for attempted vehicular hijacking, one for unlawful vehicular invasion, and one for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon for a person under 21, among other misdemeanor charges. His mother, our sources say, was later arrested in the 3300 block of West Potomac and charged with attempting to elude a police officer and for contributing to a crime of a delinquent minor.
Nah, she gonna definitely get chose. We ain't tripping off of that. But more importantly, what's up with all of these women? Honestly, what's up with all of these women enabling their sons, even to the point to where the sons then become carjackers? That's the real concern that we need to have in the community. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, ladies and gentlemen. That is your quick hits. All right, let's get back into the show. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get it popping. Fanny P says, Anton, the after hours was crazy last night. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I really don't. I don't know what to predict. I don't know what's going to happen. I know after hours was insane last night, like Fanny P is saying. Quentin for sure is a gem. See, y'all didn't know how talented Quentin was. I see my talent in my people. Y'all didn't know how talented Quentin was. Jay Johnson says, blessings AD out here chilling OG. Good morning, Chaser. Gang, 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 gang. Been reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, learning about growing assets, lowering liabilities and the differences. Thank you for your wisdom again. God bless you. God bless you too, Jay Johnson. And welcome to the gang. Spaces says, did you see C. White catching somebody on TCAP? I have no idea what TCAP is. Somebody tell me what TCAP is, and I don't want to put it in Google because I don't want to mess up my search algorithm, and then y'all got me on some unscrupulous sites. I have no idea what TCAP is. What is TCAP? Y'all got to fill me in. Shout out to Spaces. 400 to 250 pounds. Jesus Christ. Says, I know if it's off topic, but if women want an infidelity clause, then men need to add a wellness clause. If you are 5 pounds heavier than when we met, then she is in violation. All right. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to go live on Instagram today. When I get back, after I leave the show, because I'm going to leave the show as soon as I'm going to head back to the penthouse right after this show is over, and we're going to leave the studio. I'm going to go live on Instagram, and we're going to address some issues. You know what I'm saying? Before I catch my flight this afternoon. Thank you, 400 to 250. I appreciate you. Pat's Nation in the building says, why don't chat sites require ID when signing up? They need to be held accountable, but they never will if they really want to protect kids. No, we want people to sign up, and then we want to catch them like to catch a predator. Devastator says, out here trying to live fast and furious life? Crazy, man. Slan Sells Cars says, Anton, these brothers out here knocking down linebackers. I know. Mika! What up, Mika? Says Nip Nip is wild from Small C Gang here. Talk to him, Mika. Talk to him, Mika. Love my Mika. I got to get Mika on the show tonight. Mika was busy last night, so now we got to make sure that we get her back on the show tonight so we can get it popping, because Quentin was out here crazy last night. His DMs was going crazy last night. All right, y'all, let's continue over with the show. So, next thing that we really want to tackle, or the first thing that we really want to tackle before we get into it, is we want to talk about this Trump rally. So Trump is on break from his case I guess that he's got going over there with Stormy Daniels. And he said, listen, man, I'm coming through in the Bronx. I guess the Bronx is a really, really poor area. Like they're some of the poorest people in New York. Not saying everybody in the Bronx is poor, but there's a demographic of people in the Bronx, and the Bronx has gotten a very, very unscrupulous reputation over the decades. But my point is that Trump decided to pull up to the Bronx, and they did not know that it was going to be this many people there. Actually, it was over 25,000 people and more waiting to get in the Bronx. Here's my question. Is it a possibility that they can turn New York blue or turn New York red? Is it a possibility that they turn New York red? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what's happening.
The former president trying to woo minority voters in the South Bronx, and he was met by both supporters in a counter rally hosted by the Bronx Democratic Party. Fox 6's Teresa Priello is live at Crotona Park, where the dueling rallies took place. Teresa?
Yeah, Natasha and Steve, Trump came here to the Bronx to try and sway black and Hispanic voters, and he talked about the things that New Yorkers talk about: crime, the migrant crisis, and the economy.
I I heard what I wanted to hear. I saw what I wanted to see. And just for the record, Donald Trump is not orange.
It was a night to remember.
What? Man, shout out to my crazy New Yorkers out in these streets. And Jay Ben, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. She said, Donald Trump is not orange.
In the Bronx for thousands of Trump supporters who waited for 6.5 hours for the former president to take the stage.
Elderly people with illnesses are here to support a very noble, honorable man. He deserves our respect. He deserves our vote.
People of all ages, ethnic backgrounds, and voting records filled Crotona Park. Some have been to Trump rallies before, others haven't. And this was Trump's first rally in the city since his presidential run in 2016.
I believe in my heart he's going to win again. I love him.
I used to be a Democrat, and I changed to Republican because I cannot stand what's going on.
Trump spoke for an hour and a half, attempting to convince a captivated crowd how he could turn this Democratic stronghold red.
Who said we're not going to win New York? We're going to win New York so
He hit on issues plaguing the city, the migrant crisis, subway and street crime, and homelessness.
And remember this, if a New Yorker can't save this country, no one can.
On the outskirts of the park, a counter-protest. Those who wish to keep Trump from ascending to the...
Look at all of them little bit of people. Man, come on, bro. Listen, bro. Did y'all really pay to have them signs put up? Hey, whenever it's a rally or something like that, whether I'm for it or I'm against it, I just let the people rock out. Shout out to Trav and Slay. I just let the people rock out because you're not going to do nothing. You're not going to stop nothing. You're not going to prevent people from doing whatever it is that they want to do. People really be wasting their time out here in these streets.
Seat of power once again.
Donald Trump is a president who has proven that his policies are harmful to communities like mine here in the South Bronx. And so the fact that he's come here as a political ploy is not only harmful, but it's dangerous.
Everything that Donald Trump is fighting against is what we are here to affirm.
This all comes as Trump spends a lot of time in the city lately with his ongoing hush money trial wrapping up. That's expected to continue next week.
So, over 25,000 people pulled up for the Trump rally in New York. I'm going to say that I don't think that New York will ever switch over from being blue. I think it is smart to target, because informed voters are already going to vote based off of policy and what they think the direction of the country is going in. But if you ever want to target somebody, then you have to target the minority voters, because those are the ones that's on the fringes that ultimately determine how elections going to go. I don't think that anybody in New York is ever going to become like New York and California is forever going to be blue, in my opinion. Forever going to be blue. I don't think that New York is ever going to go over the red, but I don't know. I could be absolutely wrong. Let's see some of what he actually had to say at the campaign rally, because I want to hear some of his speech.
Remember, we're going to win. We're all winners. We're going to win so big, we're going to make it bigger and better than ever before. Remember that. So don't worry. By the time the other 6,000 or 7,000 people get in, it'll be very positive. Our subways are squalid and unsafe. The ceiling tiles are falling down, and they look worse than a third world country. The medians of our highways are crumbling. Our sidewalks are littered with garbage, bottles, and trash. But worst of all, the discarded needles from people that so desperately are in need of help. And we have mobs of migrants fighting our police officers and giving America the middle finger. But we are not going to let this continue. We are not going to abandon our hope and our pride. This city has given us so much, and now it is time that we are going to give it back. Together, we are going to...
A lot of people in the chat saying California used to be red. Yeah, it used to be a lot of things that's happening. Texas used to be red, but Texas is trending towards turning blue with all of the people that's starting to move there. And I actually got a segment of the show that I want to go over today where it's showing, or it's talking about people that saying that they're moving to certain places based off of their political views, but are they really? I don't think that California is ever going to go blue again. They're giving away too much free money. They letting too many people in the country and live there. All of the people that actually have resources and money that has grown to have more of a conservative view, a lot of those people are leaving the state. The active voters aren't really participating because they go into a different part of the country in order to make sure that they settle down. Boomers are absolutely retiring. Millennials is the next step as far as what it is that the majority of the money that's in America, who are the people that tend to vote more conservative. Gen Z is just, they out of their mind for the most part. No way do I think even remotely that California will ever go back blue. No. Connie says Cali is still red, but big cities control the state, and that's why. That's why. The more people move over to Houston, Houston is a blue city, right? The more people that move over into these big cities like the LAs or whatever, a lot of California is red, but they vote based off of the entire state because, you know, the majority of the population that ultimately are in these urban cores vote blue, and those are the ones that really determine what color the state is going to flip over into. So I don't think that California is ever going blue again, but that's just my personal opinion.
To make New York City great again, and simultaneously, we are going to make America great again.
The only political rally for a presidential candidate that I've ever actually been to was Andrew Yang. I went and visited his political rally because I wanted to see what was going on. And when I got there, they was talking to me and they was getting my sentiment. And they was like, hey, do you want to be on stage? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm a star.
Thank you. I have come tonight to talk about solving problems. The simple fact is Joe Biden is not getting the job done for the Bronx. He's not getting the job done for New York, and he's not getting the job done for America. He is incompetent, ladies and gentlemen. He is grossly incompetent. I will get the job done as I did for 4 years, and I will get it done fast. And remember this, if a New Yorker can't save this country, no one can. No one can. Get me the snake, please. The snake. Thank you, everybody. What a crowd. This is something. You know, we wanted to keep it small because who knew? This is like a love fest. Love fest. It's a love fest.
This dude know how to market and promote
Thank you,
himself.
darling.
I think one of the things that prevented Trump from being successful in 2020 was the fact that he could not get out and actually talk to the people to the extent that he is right now because we had the pandemic going on at that particular time. Y'all have no clue the power of being able to actually go out and be visually present in people's lives, whether you're a presidential candidate or whether you're a regular person. The way that I even built my YouTube channel very early was actually out in the streets with real people. And so I would market myself and I would, my goal was to build up a core audience and then let it snowball to become what it is today. And I never imagined that I would be as successful as I am as a content creator as I am now. But one of the ways in which I started off my campaign was I was an in-person person. You know what I'm saying? I would go out, I would make myself interesting, I would network, and then when people would ask me what I do, then I would make sure that I mentioned it. You know, and they would look me up right then and there, and they would subscribe. And so I built up my core audience, not necessarily trying to be popular on social media, but actually going out and being relevant in my own city, which then snowballed into my online success. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people don't really understand the impact of in-person marketing. It is way more impactful, especially when you're getting started. And a lot of people don't want to do the legwork. They don't want to build up an audience. They don't want to build up a core. And so, you know, it's hard to reach people when you're just trying to get them in a crowded market. But when you're able to create a market for yourself and then have that translate online, I think that that's a lot more impactful.
Thank you. Wow. Who said we're not going to win New York? We're going to win New York so much.
Anyways, that's Trump over in New York, and he decided that he wanted to do a rally. But on the flip side, and I'm going to read the super chat shortly right after this because I just want to go straight into what was happening with AOC. AOC was absolutely livid. And when I say livid, she was livid. And she went on this whole tirade about how Trump is broke. And she even decided that she wanted to speak on what was happening in Congress as far as Marjorie and Jasmine Crockett going back and forth, because you know she was a part of that whole back and forth exchange also. But she had some thoughts, and of course you can see that MSNBC made Trump a little bit more orange than usual. But she had some thoughts about Trump appearing in one of the most impoverished parts of New York, which is the Bronx, and him rallying the people to the tune of more than 25,000 people. Take a look. I always like to get the other side of the conversation, so take a look, y'all.
Joining me now is someone who does actually represent parts of the Bronx, Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's good to see you, Congresswoman. I should note the rally is technically in Richie Torres' district, just to be clear on the district lines. What do you think about a big...
It's a shame that a girl as pretty as her is as toxic as she is. This is why I say pretty girls ruin lives. Listen, we're going to make that a thing. And when it blows up and when it becomes super popular, know that it came from me. It's documented on my Twitter timeline. You ain't heard nobody ever say it before. Pretty girls ruin lives. There's no reason in the world that a girl as pretty as she is as toxic as she is. So much so, it be dudes that be saying, yo, man, I'll crash out over AOC. I know you would. I know you would. Let me tell you something. Pretty girls ruin lives. That's my slogan for the rest of the year. Pretty girl. Matter of fact, I'm about to put that on my Instagram as my bio. Pretty girls ruin lives. Absolutely, they do.
Donald Trump rally in the Bronx.
I mean, I think, as you mentioned earlier, this guy is stuck in court. And let's be very clear about the fact.
I got some new merch that's coming out. I was trying to figure out what was going to be my launching merch, but it's going to be called PGRL. PG, don't steal my shit. It's Friday. I'm cussing today. Don't steal my stuff. PGRL. Pretty girls ruin lives. That's going to be the first. It's going to be the first one.
That he is stuck in court because...
I'm going to do pre-orders. I'm about to set up my Shopify. We're going to do pre-orders. It's going to be the very first merch. I'm going to drop it first in the Patreon, then I'm going to make it available for the general public. PGRL. Yeah. Let's get it, y'all.
Over hush money payments for in order to quiet the story about him having sex with Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the in the lead up to the election. And I think that because he is stuck on so many charges around fraud and these payments, he is stuck.
Give me a week. I'm gonna have it set up. Hey, where Bitcoin Brown at? Bitcoin Brown, set that up. We're going to do pre-orders, and then we're going to drop the look, and then we launching it within 2 weeks.
In a pretty tight radius of where he can go. New York City's blue, Brooklyn is blue, Queens is blue, the Bronx is blue, and he's got nowhere to go. And so he's decided to come to the South Bronx. He's broke. He needs to pay these legal funds, and bussing people in order to get those donations so that he can funnel them to his legal fees is kind of his business right now.
I will say Crotona Park is quite nice. I think it once had a reputation for being pretty ragged, but it's quite nice. And I'm hoping that the many people coming down from Westchester get a moment to appreciate the beauty and splendor of our borough of the Bronx, which is indeed a beautiful place.
Well, I can tell you that the Green New Deal investments that we have secured through community project funds have absolutely beautified everywhere from Pelham Bay Park, Crotona Park, and Throgs Neck as well.
Spoken like an incumbent running for re-election.
Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. All right, let's get back to the show.
Let me ask you this, Congresswoman. We just had this news about Samuel Alito. And I think all of us are there's a little bit of sort of banging your head against the wall, like, okay, what now? And a feeling like the affirmative decision to fly these flags feels like some form of taunting. I mean, he could just not do it. You could just sit in your house and write docs. Like, you don't have to fly any flags. You got a lot of power. What do you see as your role as a Democratic member of Congress in a Democratic House majority with respect to this court, specifically Alito and more broadly?
Well, I mean, I don't even think that we have to wait until we have a Democratic House majority, because we have a Democratic Senate majority. And this is an alarm that I've been sounding for quite some time now. I think that what we are seeing here is an extraordinary breach of not just the trust and the stature of the Supreme Court, but we are seeing a fundamental challenge to our democracy. Samuel Alito has identified himself with the same people who raided the Capitol on January 6th and is now going to be presiding over court cases that have deep implications over the participants of that rally. And while this is the threat to our democracy, Democrats have a responsibility for defending our democracy. And in the Senate, we have gavels. There should be subpoenas going out. There should be active investigations that are happening. And I believe that when House Democrats take the majority, we are preparing and ensuring to support the broader effort to stand up our democracy. But I also believe that when Democrats have power, we have to use it. We cannot be in perpetual campaign mode. We need to be in governance mode. We need to be in accountability mode with every lever that we have, because we cannot take a Senate majority for granted, a House majority for granted, or a White House for granted. Every single minute matters, and we have to use our power when we have it.
Well, she also spoke on, let me bring this up real quick, what was happening in Congress between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett. Check it out.
Joining me again, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who sits on the House Oversight Committee and had that exchange with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, in some ways, there's a fair amount of theater and performance, I think, on Capitol Hill, but also I could sense in you in that moment, like, genuine outrage at what was being done. What is your takeaway from that moment, and more broadly, the kind of culture of the place that seems to cultivate those sorts of antics?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I know that a lot of folks kind of saw these clips going around that were often highlights of what had happened. But a lot of that was a result of structural changes that Republicans decided to make in real time to essentially throw out the House handbook that frankly, and the House rules for committee guidance and for committee conduct through a vote. There was actually a procedural vote in which every single Republican went down the line and decided to vote that the comments that Marjorie Taylor Greene, the disgusting comments that she made about Representative Crockett, were in fact above board and acceptable, which is rather unprecedented in the House. These rules are, they were established in the 1800s, shored up in the 1800s, after the caning involving Charles Sumner in the Senate, precisely designed to de-escalate a political culture of violence when things get too hot. And in fact, when I was a freshman coming into the House, the rules were so widely respected that there would be motions to strike a member's words, even if they just spoke in the second person and used the word you instead of the gentleman from so-and-so. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene, her acting, like the ogre in that role is not surprising. What is surprising is Chairman Comer allowing that to be the conduct of, and not just him, but every single Republican, surprisingly, except for Representative Lauren Boebert, actually. And I think, the fact that she has been subject to so much vitriol herself may have to do, may have something to do with the fact, I don't know, but it could have something to do with the fact that as women, we understand the vitriol that especially happens. And if you don't want
Why does it always come back to women? I don't understand that. Why is it always a woman thing? Why isn't it a decorum thing? We already know that these people was in the house being disrespectful, not doing what they were supposed to do, not doing their job effectively, but yet it's always a woman thing. It always comes back to the excuse as to why you can't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. I don't understand that. I genuinely don't understand that. Why can't people just do what they're supposed to do? It makes no sense to me. And they always blaming it back on, whether or not they're a woman and all of this stuff. Man, get your life together, bro. There's no reason why them people should have been in Congress arguing and doing all of the stuff that they was doing in the first place. It really shouldn't have been. And it's unfortunate. But let's continue. Let's keep going.
Catch any, then you shouldn't give any. And I think that's what Representative Green encountered on Friday. If you don't want none, don't start none. And if you're not going to respect the rules, then...
Really? Seriously? If you don't want none, don't start none? Are we really doing this? If you don't want none, don't start none. Seriously? Did she seriously just say that? Man, stop it, bro. If you don't want none, don't start none. That's what she just said. This is y'all representative. This is the person that y'all rocking with. These are the people. These are y'all leaders. Is this the person that y'all actually voting in over in the Bronx? Hey, Bronx, I'm disappointed in you guys. Bronx, I'm disappointed in you guys. Y'all are over here seriously taking serious a woman that said, if you don't want none, don't start none.
It's going to come to you.
You have been very critical of the Biden administration's policy on Israel-Gaza, although quite also strenuous in your endorsement of the Biden-Harris ticket and the importance of electing, sort of balancing those two. At the top of the list of priorities, are there specific actions, specific things the Biden administration is not doing now that it should be doing that they have under their control?
I think this right here is an excellent question because there are things that are within our control when it comes to the bombardment and the outright famine that is precipitating in Gaza, an unfolding genocide in Gaza. And there are things that are not in our control that the Netanyahu government is just barreling ahead towards. For example, I do not believe that it is constructive to invite Prime Minister Netanyahu to a joint address of Congress. And many foreign leaders use this opportunity to lobby the entire Congress and the U.S. government for their own needs or for a certain view of their priorities. And I don't believe that that's a constructive role for us to be playing right now. I believe that we should be more thorough in enforcing a red line at Rafah. I believe that while there was one...
Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. This woman is absolutely boring. I'm not sure why anybody is still watching and voting for AOC. I don't think that she's as intelligent as she projects herself to be. But I'm absolutely positively sure that she is not worthy of another term in Congress based off of her track record, based off of her stance on immigration, and based off of her jealousy of Donald Trump showing up in the Bronx. So that's my thoughts in a general sense. I don't really feel like listening to AOC anymore, to be honest with you. And so that's just my personal preference. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats and let's get into something a little bit more interesting. J. Ben says, no Bronx slander. We got $1 million cribs. But the lifestyle and the rats and the dirtiness is crazy. Tech Coach Ralph says the governor of NY called the attendees clowns. Really? Preston Walker says, good morning, Anton. No bag fumbling on the Fridays. Can you give a shout out to the Idaho Bag Chasers? Beauty therapy in the building. Much respect. Let me give a shout out to the Idaho Bag Chasers. Yes, because Idaho has more than potatoes. Wealth Building Journey says, Ton, I'd say it's more that pretty women are foot soldiers for both sides of any argument. Case in point, look at the news reporters for Fox and CNN. Interesting. Matt Washington says, just passing by showing love. Shout out to Matt Washington. I appreciate you. Also says, sending support. Also signed up for the Patreon yesterday. Shout out to the new chasers. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. My dog, Executive Suite MLE, says, I'm from the BX. AOC is a plant. Never heard of her until she won her seat. Trump had the red hats in the hood for sure. Great response to governor saying kids in the BX don't know the word computer. Shout out to my dog, Executive Suite MLE in the building. Sharik, 43, says, Anton, why are you making us listen to this garbage? Well, I want y'all to know what's going on both sides of the aisle. Y'all don't want to be informed? We got to keep it objective. I know that we got some liberals inside of the chat too, and so I want to make sure that I keep my people up to date on what's going on out in these streets. I'm sorry. Well, let's get to something a little bit more interesting. Why don't we say? Microsoft. Now, I know a lot of y'all may not necessarily be intimately familiar with what's going on with AI, but I've been on this AI train riding this wave, right? And so I want to make sure that I keep y'all up to date because Microsoft had Build Day the other day, and they announced some new PCs as well as leveraging ChatGPT because, you know, they were one of the early investors in ChatGPT. So they have a vested interest in seeing what's happening over there. But Microsoft announced some new PCs, laptops, and then they also demonstrated some things that I thought that was interesting that maybe I wanted to share with you guys. I mean, this is stuff that I study, and I'm not sure if it's something that's relevant to y'all, but I definitely want to keep y'all in the loop. So here goes nothing.
But we're going to talk this morning about Microsoft's new Surface devices with advanced AI capabilities, promising enhanced features, longer battery life, and support for their Copilot AI chatbot. This follows other big AI announcements from Google. We also heard, of course, from OpenAI. Last week, we're going to be hearing from Anthropic.
Did y'all just see the way that they just drew that? We're going to get into the actual, some of the announcements shortly. But that's crazy, bro. Artists, 100% going to be displaced.
Here in France, actually, tomorrow. Joining us right now, though, is Joanna Stern, Wall Street Journal senior personal technology columnist, and, of course, a CNBC contributor. Good morning to you. You just wrote all about these new devices, and so I guess we'll just ask you, the Roger Ebert question. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think?
Look, I haven't gotten to test them for a long period of time, but from what I
Somebody said, am I invested in Microsoft? I absolutely is invested in Microsoft. Microsoft, I've never, ever, not one day. My daughter has been invested in Microsoft for the last 16 years. I've never sold a share of Microsoft, ever. 100% invested in Microsoft.
Early out of the gate, thumbs up for sure. This is not only a big deal for Microsoft here on AI, but also really in the race to catch up with Apple on their ARM chips. I mean, Apple kind of blew it open a few years ago, just created some laptops that got rid of a lot of the pain points we've had with laptops. They're cool, they last long, the performance is good, and Microsoft has struggled to do that. So here they are with their Copilot Plus PCs. They use Qualcomm chips. They promise great battery life, great performance. So I'm really looking at the basics here. And if they can get the basics right, then I think Microsoft does have a hit on its hands.
Okay, the most interesting feature that you wrote about on these new devices is this idea that when you forget what you saw and how often...
Y'all not a part of Stock Club, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We talk about this all the time.
Have you been on a web page or somewhere along along your travels online, you forget where you found it, what the web address was, what it was. Now you can just ask the computer and it will show you a screenshot of what you saw even days and months ago?
Really?
Yeah, so it definitely sounds creepy. And I asked Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, about this. But here's what's happening. There is now a chip on the device that enhances AI. And there is a model on the device. This isn't going to the cloud. So it is taking screenshots of what you're doing. I can tell you that does sound creepy, right? Take screenshots of what you're doing throughout the day. And then on the device, it's using AI to figure out things. It's looking at the images, it's looking at the text. So then you can go into the search box and say, I saw a picture of a guy on CNBC. He looked like he was in Paris. And that may pop up just from putting in that semantic search. So good, cool, right? But also creepy. And what Nadella and the rest of Microsoft is saying here is that this is only happening on the device. It doesn't have to go to the cloud. I should also say that I did get to test the feature, and you can turn it off, and you can limit it from seeing certain websites. So you can put in chase.com or your bank, etc.
That's crazy. Let's actually go over to what some of the announcements was. This is everything revealed in 5 and 9 minutes via CNET. Let's see what some of the announcements were.
You know, when I think about...
And I do think that Microsoft has one of the greatest CEOs of all time on their hands.
Progress we've made even since last time we were here at Build, we've built really 3 platforms. The first is Microsoft Copilot, which is your everyday AI companion. It puts knowledge and expertise at your fingertips.
Copilot is the replacement for Cortana. Now, a lot of people may not be familiar with Cortana, but Copilot is basically Cortana, improvised, upgraded, and then relaunched with AI.
Helps you act on it, and we built the Copilot stack so that you can build your AI applications and solutions and experiences. And just yesterday, we introduced a new category of Copilot Plus PCs, the fastest AI-first PCs ever built. And so today I want to highlight our top news for this event across every layer of this Copilot stack. It all starts, though, with this very deep partnership with NVIDIA, which spans the entirety.
We've been talking about this for a long time. Everything is interconnected. And so when you go through, and I'm not going to talk about it extensively here because I just want to react to Microsoft, because we talk about this extensively on Stock Club. So if y'all not a part of the Patreon, and it's not hard to understand, I'm telling you, we break it down to a C-student's perspective. Everything is interconnected. When you think about all of the companies that manufacture the equipment that ultimately make some of these semiconductor chips, you're talking about ASML, right? And then you're talking about NVIDIA, and you talk about the partnership of NVIDIA, and then what it is that they're using and who's using and what as far as the AI models and who's developing all of this technology, ChatGPT and Microsoft's investment in it and in their partnership with NVIDIA. And so there's so many companies that are benefiting from investing in each other and partnering with each other. And you guys are missing out, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's continue.
Of the Copilot stack across both all of their hardware innovation as well as their system software innovation. Together, we offer Azure Confidential Computing on GPUs.
What is Azure? What is Azure? Microsoft Azure. Azure is Microsoft's cloud technology, right? Similar to Amazon Web Services. What do I talk about being a cloud engineer? Let's continue.
To really help you protect sensitive data around the AI models end to end. We're bringing, in fact, the latest H200s to Azure later this year, E100s as well as. Excited to share that we are the first cloud to deliver general availability of VMs based on AMD AMI 300X AI accelerator.
That's a mouthful, ain't it?
Microsoft offers the best project to be open with our most strategic and most important partnership with OpenAI. Just last week, OpenAI announced GPT-4o, their latest multimodal model, which was trained on Azure. It's an absolute breakthrough. It has text.
Now, think about that, right? When you're looking at investing in these different companies, and let's say, for example, you want to base it off of cloud infrastructure, right? Because in the last Stock Club that we had, which was literally a couple of days ago on Wednesday, we had a Stock Club where we basically broke down why investing in retail alone is not enough. Now, again, I'm not going to go into it because we had a lot of talking points and it's like an hour long. So for those of y'all that just signed up for Stock Club or the Patreon, make sure y'all go and check that out. But what he's basically saying is that their strategic investment into ChatGPT, or the company that owns ChatGPT, also allowed for and required them to build their entire model off of the cloud infrastructure based in Azure, which gave them a strategic heads up in their partnership with NVIDIA and everybody else, because Amazon Web Services may not have the same level of access based off of the fact that Microsoft has these investments in strategic partnerships, which position them financially to be much, much more successful in the technologies that they're using in order to ensure that they're returning value to the shareholders.
audio, image, and video as input and output. It can respond and just have a human-like conversation. In the video I'm just going to play, notice that you can share your screen or session as a prompt in Copilot and have Copilot help you in whatever it is that you're doing. Let's roll the video.
Hey, Copilot, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great, and it looks like you're about to dive into some Minecraft. I see you've got a crafting table in front of you, which is a great start. To craft a sword, you'll need some materials. Can you open your inventory? Just press E on your keyboard.
That's crazy.
Yeah, do I have what I need? Oh my God, what's that?
Oh no, it's a zombie. Run, you need to get away from it fast. Either sprint away or quickly build a tower of blocks straight up to get out of its reach.
And as OpenAI innovates, our promise is that we will bring all that innovation to Azure too. In fact, the same day that OpenAI announced GPT-4o, we made the model available.
You don't even have to learn how to game anymore. It basically is telling you what to do.
For testing on Azure OpenAI service, and today, I'm excited to say that it's generally available on Azure AI. One of the coolest things is that now any app, any website, can essentially be turned into a full multimodal, full duplex conversational canvas.
I'm gonna go on an overnight camping hike where we're camping all this. It's gonna be dark, cold. Should I use these shoes? It's the mountains. It's probably gonna be cold.
Great, no worries. Let me take a look. Ah, those are the Trek Star hiking sandals. While they're fantastic for summer hikes and keeping your feet cool, they might not be the best choice for cold
Oh my goodness,
mountain
so, okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Pick the best thing that I should use, and can you just add it to my cart? Just one product.
No worries. Let's go with the Trek Ready hiking boots. They're durable, provide great ankle support, and most importantly, they'll keep your feet warm in the cold mountains.
That's crazy, bro. That's insane. Yo, when I first had seen them start to introduce assistants such as Siri and all of that stuff, and what was the one with Amazon? Echo something? Hey, whatever. I forgot what it was. To see the level of innovation that's happened in just this short amount of time, and you can hold up a product and it can look at the product through the camera, tell you everything that you should and shouldn't do based off of the recommendation. And then you can stop it mid-sentence and like you're talking to a regular person. Now we really ain't gonna need these women out here in these streets. Hey man, look, when y'all say, oh man, you know, we peaceful and we able to do this and we can cook and clean, we don't even need y'all no more. We got AI. We got Microsoft's OpenAI and all of their partnerships that's just going to basically do everything for us. We just going to talk to it and it's going to build everything and take care of business.
Today, I'm very thrilled to announce a new partnership with Khan Academy. We'll be working together to use 5.3 to make math tutoring more accessible. And
you don't even need your wife to go and tutor your kid. Just set them up right there in front of ChatGPT. I'm not even going to cap. One of the things that I do when my daughter comes to me and she be like, hey, Dad, I'm trying to figure out this. If it's been a long time since I did it, the first thing I do is I go into ChatGPT. I start talking. I'm like, hey, show me this and this and this. Let's refresh my memory on this. It started breaking it down for me. Obviously, you got to have a foundation in it to understand it. But it absolutely does. I use it in corporate America to shortcut a lot of things. Hey, build this for me. And then I go in and I customize it myself or whatever. But it is incredible. It is incredible. If you guys are not using artificial intelligence, if you're not using ChatGPT, if you're not using it for your everyday tasks to make your life easier, to give you a leg up on what's going on in the streets, you 100% are missing out. I mean, even to the point to where I was working with my editor and we were implementing new technology and I had got him some new stuff and all of that stuff. And I was showing him, you know, some of the technology that's being implemented inside of these editor, you know, in order to make his job easier and allow for him to be able to edit things a lot quicker for me. And so what we were looking at was when you do a video, let's say, for example, I do an interview back here on the black couch. Yeah. We do a video back here on the black couch, and then we import certain software in a Premiere Pro for Adobe Creative Cloud, which is what we use for Photoshop, Premiere Pro, for all of our editing, everything, cover photos, all of that. You can have 3 different pieces of footage the 3 different pieces of footage, let's say I'm pointing one at me, I'm pointing one at the person that I'm interviewing, and then I'm pointing one at the person, at both of us at the same time, right? And then you got 2 different audio tracks. So those are three different files, and then you got 2 different audio tracks, one for me, one for them. You can literally have this technology with AI enabled, go through and chop it up to where it pans to different things and who's talking at that particular time. And it does a phenomenal job. I mean, it saves probably 3 or 4 hours worth of work, and it does it in literally like 30 seconds. And 3-4 hours worth of work is 100% done in 30 seconds. It's crazy. And so one of the things that we do over here in our studio in Don't Do Coke in the Bathroom is we're always looking to implement technology so we can minimize costs, and we willing to invest in software, and we are willing to invest in ourselves in order to make things easier for us and for us to be a lot more competitive when it comes to what we're doing. Why hire more people when I could just make the person that I already got hired job easier and then be able to have, implement more work? He do less work, he's more efficient, he makes more money as a result of it, and we continue to run up the bag. So y'all got to start embracing technology in order to make your lives a lot easier, man.
I'm also excited to share that they'll be making Khan Amigo, their AI assistant, free to all US teachers. And I'm excited to announce that Azure AI Studio now is generally available. And fine-tune AI models and do so responsibly. It includes built-in support for what is perhaps the most important feature, which is the real world. Since no 2 business processes are the same, with Copilot...
I could talk about it on Patreon, sister. I actually do a whole video where I break down exactly how we leverage AI in a lot of ways, even here in the studio, to make our jobs a lot easier and more efficient.
Studio, you now can extend Copilot to be able to customize it for your business processes and workflows. Today, we are introducing Copilot connectors in Copilot Studio so you can ground Copilot with data from across the graph, from Power Platform, Fabric, Dataverse, as well as you now have all the third-party connectors for SaaS applications from Adobe, Atlassian, ServiceNow, Snowflake, and many, many more. We're also extending Copilot beyond a personal assistant to become a team assistant. I'm thrilled today to announce Team Copilot.
Let me see what else is going on, if there's anything else we need.
Behavior. There are many announcements that you will hear about at Build, but I want to go back to, I think, the core of why we chose to be in this industry and why we come to work every day as developers, which is the mission ultimately of empowering every person in every organization. At the end of the day, it's not about innovation that is only useful for a few. It's about really being able to empower everyone. And it comes down to you all as developers and builders of this new world. For us, it's never about celebrating tech for tech's sake. It's about celebrating what we can do with technology to create magical experiences that make a real difference in our country.
All right, so basically it's about making more money. If you really just want to understand what it is that he's talking about, it's about making more money. Anyways, let me continue over with the show. I want to go ahead and read some of the super chats and then we're going to continue over. Van Flacco says, my mom is a pretty woman. My dad ruined his own life. Cap. I don't believe it. Jawan Hart says, we create an AM from I have no mouth to I must scream. Shout out to you. Jamal Parks is in the building, says, Anton, don't you think this AI will make content creating and work in general even more efficient and effective? This seems like good too. Yeah, that's why I was just explaining to y'all inside of the, during the broadcast. Dakman 2018 says, Terminator 2 tried to warn us. When can you go over how to set up a brokerage account to use it like a regular bank account? I don't want y'all using your brokerage account like a regular bank account. Even though you set up Fidelity, you can go online and just set it up and just say, hey, I want to, go through the process of setting up an account and then tying your regular checking account over into it. And even though they give you a debit card for it, I don't want y'all using your regular brokerage account like a bank account. I want you to use it as an investment tool. I want you to look at it more as a savings tool that enables you to be able to invest in other companies that you otherwise would not have access to. So don't look at your brokerage account like a regular bank account, big dog. I appreciate you. Jay Johnson says, will it backfire? Microsoft AI looks dope, but don't you think it will take the experience out of some things like gaming, shopping, or education? You're never putting this genie back in the bottle, bro. This is an AI arms race. And so it doesn't matter what we think. The only thing that matters is whether or not it's going to be profitable and how we can leverage it in order to continue to make ourselves successful. Are we racing towards the demise and the end of the human race? Probably. But it's going to be a glorious ending. And nobody is slowing down, so you might as well be a part of it instead of being the one that's left behind. You might as well profit from it. We all going to destroy ourselves anyway, so what difference will it make? Anyways, over to this. Let's talk about housing, and then we're going to get over into Denver. Actually, you know what? Let me see something. I heard Sean Kingston. I didn't even add this as a part of the show, even though it's in the title. I heard that Sean Kingston's house got raided, or his mother's house got raided. Let's pivot for a second. I think we got a little bit of time. A little bit of time. Let me see what's happening out here in these streets with Sean Kingston. Hey, wasn't Sean Kingston like arrested or something like that, or being accused of fraud at one point or something? I don't know. Let's see what's happening.
Developing now, a very active scene outside of a home connected to rapper Sean Kingston. Dozens of deputies have been going in and out all.
How do these dudes continue to keep this amount of money? It's beautiful girl, suicidal.
Outside of a home connected to rapper Sean Kingston. Dozens.
How do these dudes just be walking around with a whole bunch of chains, go-yard bags on, custom go-yard bags? Sean Kingston still looks like he's 19 years old. He's still going with the baby boy look. He still has a baby face. We was talking about Votto yesterday. A lot of people not even familiar with Votto, but Votto was a rapper that came into the game over in New York or whatever. I don't understand, like, Sean Kingston been here since a long time, and I just don't understand how these dudes are still getting money. And I ain't hating, like, if you getting it legally, cool. But these dudes be walking around with all of the latest. They still be iced out. They still be out here doing it. Balenciaga hoodies and sweatsuits and go-yard bags and custom luggage. And I be trying to figure out, like, what is these dudes doing out here in these streets?
Of deputies have been going in and out all day long.
New
and now
ranges.
we've learned his mother has been arrested. Local 10's Terrell Forney joining us live from the scene in Southwest Ranches.
Ooh, I see you, baby.
With everything we know about this investigation. Terrell.
And there certainly has been a lot of movement here at this home over the past few hours. Detectives with the Broward Sheriff's Office, they have literally been here on site all day long. As you can see, there is a mobile command post set up just outside of the home, and all of this has to deal with some very pricey equipment that allegedly was never paid for. A high-profile raid underway Thursday at this multi-million-dollar home connected to musician Sean Kingston. Beautiful girl.
How long is, man, hold on, man. How old is Sean Kingston? Sean Kingston is 34 years old, bro. Did y'all know Sean Kingston is 34? Beautiful girl, suicidal. Man, did y'all know that Sean Kingston is 34 years old? He was born in 1990.
The tune Beautiful Girls may have been the music star's biggest hit, but he may have lost some fans at a company that sells and installs high-end television and sound systems. According to this court document, a company called Ver Entertainment accuses Kingston of having a $150,000 system installed at the home, but failing to pay for it in full.
We know that
y'all getting money like that to where y'all getting $150,000 TVs and systems installed in y'all crib. Y'all getting whole systems installed to where it costs almost a whole home out here in these streets, depending on where you are in the country. This is crazy, man.
Our property.
I don't be knowing where these dudes be getting this type of money from, bro.
Inside this house right here.
Kingston, whose real name is Kashawn Anderson, posed with the product in a photo posted on Instagram after it was installed late last year. The attorney representing that entertainment company showed us what the 232-inch television system looks like today as it was being dismantled.
Basically a sales pitch that he goes through to defraud people. He's never paid my client for this $150,000 television.
More than a dozen.
Do y'all consider that to be a scam? Do y'all consider that to be a scam? And is a scam also a finesse? And let me tell you why. Because see, I look at it as a scam as, I don't know, maybe it is a scam. Who knows? I look at a scam as you're purposely trying to defraud somebody and withhold money or try to get money out of them, right? And so I don't get how y'all do this. Even when I do all of my deals, let's just say, for example, I got my contractors or whatever, and contractors are incredibly leery, especially building houses, because they get finessed so often. So, for example, a lot of these builders, not necessarily Pulte Homes or anything, but it could be a Pulte Homes, it could be anybody, right? A lot of these builders, they'll hire these contractors, the local contractors in the area to do work, electrical work, excavation, HVAC, all of that, right? And so they'll negotiate a price, roofers, framers, all of that. And I've learned all of this throughout the process of building a house. Well, why is this important? Because what happens is a lot of these home builders or a lot of these builders, it could be local, it could be international, they'll hire these guys and then they want to nickel and dime them to death afterwards because they already did the work, but they didn't yet get paid. And because it's such a big contractor, a lot of times they'll distrust them, right? Or let's say, for example, you go and you order in lumber or something like that, right? And so the big lumber manufacturers, because you have a business account or because, you're a big contractor, what'll happen is they're basically giving it to you on consignment. Oh, I need this. All right, we'll ship it to the house and we're going to pay for it whenever, so on and so forth, right? And so there's people literally dedicated to going through with a fine-tooth comb to nickel and dime these contractors, which in my opinion, that's a form of scamming, even though y'all call it hard negotiating. And a lot of these contractors won't even do business with people that are foreign or Nigerians and stuff because they have such a bad reputation of not paying their bills. And what happens is they'll go through and say, hey, well, if you want anything, then you're going to have to accept this or you're going to have to accept that. And so they wind up accepting it and they just don't feel like going through all of the process because they got employees to pay. And they just choose not to ever do business again. So what I had to do in order to establish a good reputation in Michigan as a builder, building my first properties to have great people working with me, is I paid people immediately. A lot of times what we do is I do the same thing that I do from a developer's perspective is that we give them a milestone. We give them milestone payments. And what a milestone payment is throughout the process, we release a certain amount of money to make sure that you protect it, to make sure that we protect it, and that you do the job that we ask you to do or that we hire you to do. Because if I give you all of the money up front, who's to stop you from running and never doing a job, right? And if you do all of the work up front and you put up all of the money and materials and you hire your guys, who's to say I don't pay you and then you just try to put a lien on the property and wait till I try to sell it, but I never sell it, right? So a good compromise with that is to create a milestone. Milestones are basically as you progress through the work, we release payments to you throughout the process. So let's say, for example, I got the drywall people in, and so we gave them some money up front in order for them to get started and do the drywall. And as they go through, we also have the insulation people. Now, the insulation people come before the drywall, but then they have to do the spray insulation and the ceilings and stuff like that in the attic. And so they got to wait for the drywall people to complete. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that they're taken care of. So we continue to release milestone payments to them in order to make sure that they're good. And we all have great reputations and everything. But again, going back to the Sean Kingston thing, I don't understand how these people come in and put in a $150,000 system and then sit there and say, well, you didn't pay me. Sean Kingston and a lot of these rappers and stuff got a reputation of getting stuff for free. And they got a reputation of not paying people. You see what I'm saying? So how do they continue to get away with doing the same stuff on a regular basis? And I'm wondering if it's actually something criminal associated with that. And can they be sued? But we'll get there.
Deputies with the
I know it's a girl right here that got a little shapeliness to her, but I see y'all. And all of these people just getting paid and they ain't even doing nothing, bro.
Broward Sheriff's Office carried out the raid on the Southwest Ranches property, carrying boxes of evidence and even large pieces of something that was kept under wraps. At one point, a Bentley SUV was towed away from the home. Kingston's family, including his sister, has been here within eyesight watching it all go down. We've learned the recording artist's mother, who drives this vehicle, was also here but arrested. Janice Turner is now in the process of being booked on numerous fraud and theft charges. The only word from Sean Kingston came today in the form of this post on Instagram that reads, "People love negative energy. I am good, and so is my mother. My lawyers are handling everything as we speak." And it's unclear if Kingston himself will be facing any criminal charges directly tied to this incident. We also know that there's been no sign of him here at the Southwest Ranches home all day. It's believed, though, that he is still out west in the LA or Las Vegas areas where he's had a series of performances scheduled this week.
So I guess he's still making money because he's still doing shows and he's touring on the road and stuff like that. Interesting. So, yeah, I guess they wasting resources and they got the authorities to be able to raid the home based off of a $150,000 system that was put in. See, when I think of raid, I think of, oh, man, it's a drug raid, or, oh, man, human trafficking, or they doing something crazy and illegal. This ain't even really news to me. So, yeah, that's what's going on with Sean Kingston. That's what's happening. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. Jamal Fowler in the building says, "See walking on a Friday, they not like us. Peace." Shout out to Jamal Fowler. Free Smoke says, "Salute, brother Anton. Can you give me a brief synopsis of ARM Technologies?" Why do you want me to give you a brief synopsis? Appreciate you for the super chat, but listen, y'all got to tap into the Patreon in order for us to really, really be able to deep dive into a lot of this stuff, because we talk about it on a regular basis. Appreciate you, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Let me finish with the rest of the subjects, because I got 23, 33, 32 minutes left, and I really want to get to some other parts of the show, and then I'll go into ARM Technologies and we'll break that down, all right? Let's see. Housing, new home sales, and then I also want to get into where people are moving across the country. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Meantime, Santelli's been busy this morning, and now we got some new homes. Let's get back to him. Hey, Rick.
Yes, Carl, indeed, and all of these numbers are coming in a little different than expectations. Our April read on new home sales expected to be around 680,000 seasonally adjusted annualized units, comes in at 634,000. That's the weakest level since November, so obviously the weakest since the year began. And if you look at pre-COVID, last month was originally released at 693,000, which is almost identical to February 2020. We retook that area, even though it's much lighter than the 08 area, but that was revised now down to 665,000. So this is a double whammy number. Not only is it weaker than expected, the revision is bigger than expected in the wrong direction. And to dig down even further in these new home sales numbers and why they're impacted by high price housing and high interest rates, we turn to Diana Olick. Diana?
Rick, it's all about prices and mortgage rates and affordability, not brain surgery here. Prices up 4% year over year in April to $433,500 for a new home. And
is that the average? $433,000 for a new home? Sheesh. That's crazy. How much money do you have to make in order to 433? Let's just say 435. How much? Let's just round it off to 500,000, because that's where we're going. What income do I need to be able to afford a $500,000 house? A lot of people go based off of the 20% down payment, 30-year mortgage, 28% rule, which is basically assuming that you'll spend about a third of your income on housing. I can't swing it. A third of your income is supposed to be spent on housing. No, I can't justify that. No way. How much do you need to buy a $500,000 house? Assuming you'll spend about a third of your total income on housing, 28%. 30-year mortgage loan at an interest rate of 6.5%, which is really 7%. Let's just assume 6.5. Monthly principal and interest payment will come to $2,500. Multiply that by 12 for an annual income to an annual amount of $30,000. Wait a minute, what? So basically, you need to be making at least $91,000, which you probably need to be making up more because it's not even taking into account you getting taxed. You need to be making almost $100,000 a year to afford a $500,000 house, and you'll have a $2,500 monthly payment. This does not include property taxes, home insurance premiums, HOA fees, maintenance. Hecky no. No way, no how. Never been comfortable with living like that, living life on the edge. That's what I call living life on the edge personally.
Take a look at where mortgage rates went in April, because these are signed contracts. That's what the numbers are based on. So people out shopping in April when mortgage rates started in the right around 7%, shot up to 7.5%. Now, we talk a lot about the big builders.
Now, remember, let's remember this, y'all. When we say these prices and these payments, I'm 42 years old. So let's say, for example, I go out and then you add in property taxes and insurance. So let's say you're spending over $3,000 a month, right? And you a regular person with a regular income, you're spending over $300,000 a month for a 30-year mortgage, not including maintenance and all of this stuff, right? I'm paying that for 360 months, 30 years, 360 months of payments. That means that by the time I'm 72, if I just make all of my payments on time, I don't have no problems, no trouble, and by the time I'm 72 years old, then I will finally maybe have my house paid off and I still got to pay the property taxes and maintenance for it. That's insane to me. I just can't justify it. That makes no sense. That's why we come up with alternative methods inside of the bag chasers.
Paying down mortgage rates in order to get buyers in the door. They had been pulling back on that, according to a lot of CEOs from earnings reports. We heard from D.R. Horton, which did very well in its last quarter, but did note in the homebuilder sentiment report that they're starting to bring back more incentives again, because when rates get up to 7.5%, it just becomes unaffordable. One more note on this, 9.1 month supply up from an 8.3 month supply in March. So builders are getting more and more supply, which could be concerning. It would make it think that they would bring prices down. But again, if they're buying down the mortgage rates, that would help. But those buy downs do hit big builder margins, and we have been seeing that a little bit in the last couple of quarters. But I will say again, on prices, up 4%. We've asked when builders will start to lower prices. Some have a little bit, but really they say they can't because of high costs of land, labor, materials, and also new rules regarding sustainability and building homes that adhere to new rules that were from 2019 about keeping those homes in those environments.
You spent 30 years grinding trying to get it, and as soon as you die, the kids gonna sell it and go and show that Bentley. They gonna spend it on their little boyfriends.
Environmental standards.
Forget all of that, bro.
So they're talking about much more costs for the builders, and that makes it more difficult for them to lower the prices. But again,
let me spin over real quick and see where everybody is moving once they sell these homes, even though home sales is at a historic low. This is talking about a CNBC report where they basically saying that people are relocating based off of where their political views match.
On the road outside Boise,
it's the second largest city in Idaho.
A tour from two transplants
Do you regret your decision at all to move from Seattle?
Not one iota.
Jason and Kelly Krafsky moved to Idaho from Washington State 2.5 years ago.
It's a nice house.
Elephant in the room is that for political reasons. I mean, we're more red than blue, especially during the lockdown. Was just
Well, that's when it really kind of hit us.
It got really egregious.
The people are great here.
Is he using my
They liked it
word?
so much, they moved.
Don't use my word egregious. That's Anton from AntonDaniels.com word. Don't use egregious. We putting a cap on that inside of the dictionary.
Their careers here, too. They're both realtors on a mission.
We just decided that was going to be our new business model, which is, help people transplant from Washington or California or Oregon here to the Boise area. Because we did it and we know how hard it is.
How's that business been?
Very, very good. You can canoe.
Some clients coming to them through a group called Conservative Move, which provides resources to help people relocate somewhere redder. Idaho's one of the fastest growing states in the country, behind only Florida last year. And part of the draw for some, not just the panoramas, but the politics. More places now are either way more red or way more blue than they used to be, according to presidential election data.
Than ever.
Back in 2004, fewer than 200 counties voted in big blowouts, a landslide one way or the other. But in 2020, that number tripled to nearly 700, including some counties in Texas. That state's where Kirby Wilbur calls himself a refugee resettlement specialist.
We're conservative, and I think if you're moving and going through this trauma, it helps to have someone who understands you and agrees with you and is able
Hey, everything is trauma now. They're saying relocating to a completely different space is now trauma. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Relocating to a different place based off of your political views or existing in a space where you think differently than the people that are around you and you need to get out, that's going through trauma. Oh, man.
help you because they've been through the same process.
People like Emma and Matthew Carruthers, who considered Tennessee, too, before settling just outside Dallas.
Kirby knew what we were looking for, and not just because he knows us, but he knows kind of the environment that we're looking for.
At the end of the day, we did it for our kids, for a better life for them.
It works both ways, with some agents aiming to help more liberal homeowners leave conservative states. For Wilbur, it's simple. People who know what they like should like where they live.
Texas isn't perfect, but if I may paraphrase Ronald Reagan, it's not heaven, but it's in the same zip code.
So that group, Conservative Move, says in the last couple of years, South Carolina has joined Texas and Florida as some of the biggest states where they're seeing clients buying homes.
Would you guys actually leave and move to a state based off of your political leanings or what your views are? For me personally, nah, never. I'm not moving to a state based off of my political views. And one of the reasons that is, well, unless I lived in New York, Illinois, or California, that goes without saying. But one of the reasons that is because I think that there's always surrounding areas and counties. Well, let me back up. I would consider it. I would definitely consider it. Michigan is a swing state, so it's a little bit different for me here, but I would definitely consider it. And the only reason I'm kind of retracting and I'm thinking differently about what my answer is because during the pandemic, 100%, that was it. Similar to what he was just saying, the pandemic was the linchpin for me. And we were stuck in Michigan, and I'm never going to forget it. I know they want to act like it didn't happen. Everybody is moving on with their lives like everything is just cool, but I'm not going to forget it. Big Gretch went along party lines, and they were shutting down Michigan, and they was arresting business owners, trying to keep their businesses open in order for them to be able to survive. And we just got tired of it. We got sick of it. And so I did some research, and I realized that they was open down there in Florida. Miami was popping. And I was like, skip it. We getting up out of here. We getting up out of here. So we packed up, and I realized that I needed a car down there. And so I took a car down there, and then I flew my wife and daughter down. And Leslie was going to school online, and we was swimming. We was having fun. We was going out and doing stuff. It was cold back home because we moved here. I think we went down here at the end of November. I came down at the end of November, We bought 2 really nice hotel rooms for like the next week or 2, and then we went Airbnb'd and we did monthly Airbnbs, and we basically got some of the greatest places. We stayed in Midtown. That's how I fell in love with Midtown and the design district over in Miami. And so we stayed over in the design district in Midtown. We learned about the culture. We started embracing the people. I was there for like 3-4 months, 3.5 months. And we had a really good time. And so, yeah, I kind of am changing my perspective, because I think that moving somewhere based off of your political leanings often align with how the state is operating, or how that specific city is operating. But, my home is here, Michigan, Detroit, and so I still stayed here, even though I lean more conservative. And Michigan is a swing state, but the city itself tend to be a little bit more blue. But I'm loving the transition that we got going on here. So it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, I think. I don't know. Let me read some of these super chats, a couple of super chats. 13 counties in Oregon voting to join Idaho. Really? I didn't know that. Send that to me in my email. I got to look into that. Preston Walker and my people over there in Idaho Bag Chaser says, no, stay away from Idaho. I said, meetup, that Boise, Idaho is the next best place. Yeah, I like Boise. I've been hearing a lot about Boise. Got a really booming healthcare industry down there in Boise, Idaho, too. All right, last but not least, I want to get into this last conversation about Denver. So we all know that Denver is or what used to be a sanctuary city, but they basically saying that the rise of Denver for some is the demise of Denver for others. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and let's get it popping.
Located at the foot of the Rocky Mountains, in a state that prides itself on 300 days of sunshine, it's easy to see the appeal of the mile-high city.
It is vibrant, it is diverse, it's entrepreneurial, and I think it's going to be a leading figure.
Full of migrants.
In the United States economy for decades to come.
From 2010 to 2020, more than 115,000 people moved to Denver. That's about a 20% increase. But housing these new residents has proved increasingly difficult. About half of the state's housing shortfall was concentrated in Denver in 2021.
You had all this demand coming in and very low supply. There simply aren't enough people in Denver and the Denver area to build the number of homes that the market really needs.
You know what also is in that? Because a lot of people just say, oh man, it's the number of homes. It's everything. When you build out, go over to Vegas. If you go over to the surrounding cities in Vegas and Henderson and all of that, you got to build out infrastructure. You got to build schools, trash and waste pickup. You have to, it's a lot. It's more than just building the homes. It's also displacing people, gentrifying particular areas. The boom of a city or people moving over into a city en masse can severely disrupt the locals in that particular area. And you have a lot that you have to start charging the city with as far as getting millages in order to be able to have that population boom, because they want them tax dollars, right? Water, all of that stuff, right? And so they start to build streets. And that's when you start getting a whole bunch of these big old cookie cutter homes in one particular area.
In many ways, we're probably a victim of our own success. Over the years, we've seen new corporate headquarters relocate to Colorado, and we've truly seen, I think, an economic boom.
But while the area is going through a boom, there are about 2 jobs for every individual looking for work.
So don't sit here and tell me that y'all don't know how to find no jobs, because they say it's 2 jobs for every single person looking for a job over in Denver. There's 2 jobs for every 1 person for all of y'all that's saying that y'all don't know where the work is. It's probably why they had the migrant crisis and it was a sanctuary city for a while. They just couldn't get the approval of the visas from the Biden administration because it's an election year.
It's been estimated that the labor shortage and skills mismatch cost the state around $40 billion in GDP loss annually.
You're going to see a lot of value creation, jobs, technology, revolutionizing everything from consumer tech to medical to cybersecurity over here in the next
street
decade.
Performers.
And Colorado is the epicenter of that.
But will the state of Colorado and the city of Denver be able to keep it as one of the best cities in the U.S. to live and visit, and home to one of the country's hottest music scenes? Denver has put its mark on the map.
I think actually probably Nashville is probably better than that. And Nashville has exploded in value also. Everybody is trying to move there too.
Colorado is no stranger to different waves of migration into the state, starting in the 70s, people from the coast coming to the state of Colorado for a different way of life.
Denver is now home to thriving technology sectors. Of the 50 largest metro areas, the region ranked first in absolute aerospace employment.
It's a very robust and thriving employer base, and also a great companion, as you know, to a lot of other legacy businesses and manufacturing, others that use those tools to grow and scale. So we think it's been a great accelerant for Denver over the last decade.
When taking into account the size and maturity
That's
of its
Mayor
business
Mike
network,
Johnston.
Denver ranked as the 19th startup city in the world.
Let me look at this. San Francisco, trash. New York, garbage. Beijing, Shanghai, LA, Boston. I actually like Boston. I really like Boston a lot. It's expensive. London is also one of the most expensive places in the world also to live. Shenzhen, Seoul. I can't wait to visit Seoul in August possibly. Tokyo, one of my favorite cities. Let me see. What other American cities is on here? Washington, Seattle, Singapore, San Diego, Austin, Tel Aviv, and then Denver. I'm not really sure that I would want to be on this list. This is not really good company. This is really not good company. This is crazy. A lot of these places is S-holes, bro.
Sports and entertainment is also booming. Red Rocks Amphitheater ranked as the 4th busiest entertainment venue globally in 2023.
Really? I didn't know that.
And the city's 4 major sports teams bring in more than $1 billion of annual revenue. GDP is up more than 50% compared to 2017 for Denver County. Of all of Colorado's metro areas, the city saw the highest number of jobs added in 2023. The city's attractive lifestyle, mixed with ample job opportunities, have attracted many new residents from outside the state.
We have some of the highest educated residents in the country. Now, that's not necessarily because they have come out of our own education system. I and many other people come from the coasts. And so that's something that has been described as the Colorado paradox, right? That on the one hand, people who are born and raised in our education system don't necessarily have the degree attainment that we would like, and yet the state has been very good at importing people who have been educated by us.
Yeah, Singapore is top of my list too, big dog. 100%.
Their states.
This influx of highly educated workers, while longtime residents are unable to catch up, has caused a divide between the have and have-nots.
So much like in other cities like San Francisco, where prices went sky high, you see more people who are in sectors where they don't make as much money. They're having to move farther and farther.
Coco James says, don't hate because the Bay Area has very innovative people. Really? Seriously? Are we really having that conversation after all of the different reports that I've made? In-N-Out. In-N-Out don't even want to stay in the Bay Area. They're like, we out of here, fam. Can't even keep this place safe no more. I think that the West Coast is falling. Y'all last stand is when Kendrick Lamar.
Farther out from the city.
As Metro Denver continues to grow, housing and lack thereof is at the forefront of politicians' minds. The city is short 70,000 homes.
The answer to housing in our case is not further and further out, because we have the land, and that's in many ways the default, but that means longer commute times, more congestion, worse air quality. So it's how do we live in a way where we don't sacrifice that quality of life.
We want this both to be one of the hottest economic markets in the country, and we want it to still be the maybe only booming city where you can also be the second grade teacher who teaches school in Denver, and you can still live down the street from the school that you teach. You know, most of those post-boom cities, the San Franciscos and others, you don't have teachers or nurses or firefighters who live in San Francisco anymore.
But right now, that's not realistic. A report by the Colorado Education Association found that 50% of educators struggled to afford housing costs in 2023. The average price of a home in Denver is about $580,000, up about 65% since January.
And you know what the funniest part about that is? The last stand for the West Coast is Kendrick, and Kendrick don't even live on the West Coast no more. Kendrick is the last stand, and he don't even live on the West Coast. Oh, man. Maybe LaRussell, but Kendrick said, I'm not even on the West no more. West, y'all.
2016. That compares to the national average of around $360,000.
That's a detriment to homeownership for families making $100,000, $120,000. Still very hard to be able to get a down payment, monthly interest payments on a $600,000, $700,000 home.
The median household salary sits just below $90,000.
The entire country is in a housing shortage right now simply because after the Great Recession, builders stopped building. In Denver, it's particularly acute because you have so much new demand. You had people moving there from California when home prices got too high there. Then also during the pandemic, you had people saying, hey, if I can work anywhere, why not work in Denver? Because I'm...
Hey, what is a house? Like, what house size do you guys say that you need in order to be super comfortable in the house that you have? What is the at like the proper house size? Is it like a little over 1,000 square feet? Is it 1,500, 1,300, 1,800, 2,000? What's the ideal house size? Not something that y'all want to live extravagantly in, but something that you feel you would be absolutely comfortable for it to be a home for you to be able to retire in. What's the proper house size for y'all?
right at the foot of the Rockies.
In 2023, it was estimated that Colorado would need 220,000 construction workers by 2027, an increase of 40,000 from its total of about 180,000. That's off to a rocky start, as 2,400 construction workers were lost in the past year.
Y'all need that much
room? To incentivize
room?
more people to high-demand fields like construction, the state has passed bills offering scholarships to recent high school graduates.
The whole idea is to get more lower-priced housing into the market, whether it's tax incentives or incentives for the builders. It's not for the high end of the market, to be sure. It's to get more affordable housing into the Denver market, because right now it just doesn't exist.
Hey, Keisha says polygamy is looking real good with these numbers. Hey, we had that conversation yesterday. I might continue it today on After Hours, because it'll be good to get a woman's perspective with Mika being on the show or whatever. But yeah, man, it would be interested to get into that. Jay Anderson, listen, man, I don't care nothing about what nobody else got going on. We in our own world. We in our own space. Bag chasers just exceeded. Let me see how many chasers we got over here. We about money over here, man. We don't care nothing about that. We focus. Everybody want people to beef. I'm not into that beef stuff no more, man. I'm into getting money, having a good time. We almost had 7,100 bag chasers and Patreon members, bro. Real talk. We literally are almost at 7,100. We had 7,778 chasers, bro. 7,778 chasers. Do I look like I got time to be beefing on the internet? I'm a 42-year-old man. I don't even know if what you're saying is true. Y'all can miss me with all of that beef shit. I'm about to catch a flight today and go and have some fun. I wear free clothes for my chasers. We got merch dropping. God bless y'all. Good luck with y'all little. If this is what you subscribe to say, God bless you, bro. We got After Hours popping off tonight, and then we got a meetup coming in July. God bless y'all, bro.
Colorado had 200,000 job openings and about 114,000 unemployed individuals in February of 2024. That's nearly 2 jobs for every 1 person looking for work.
Is a little misleading, and I think the issue is ultimately comes down to a mismatch. Just because a job is available doesn't mean someone is necessarily trained and ready to go for that occupation.
That's the Colorado paradox Wasserman was speaking about earlier. The city and the state as a whole is experiencing robust growth with plenty of jobs available. But many born and raised in the state don't have the credentials to compete for those jobs that require a higher education. The Bell Policy Institute says that the Denver metro area labor challenges are reasonably representative of what's happening statewide.
That's why they're bringing in all of these migrants to fill these jobs that y'all don't want.
Ultimately, the city faces a stark dilemma. It needs more skilled workers, but doesn't have the housing infrastructure to accommodate its own population, let alone more people. Simultaneously,
reading super chat
shortly, with an influx of migrants.
There is rather an overwhelming homeless population in Denver, which is a blight on the city. A lot of it has to do with migrant workers who have come in, and just to be sure, a big drug problem in Denver, and that's caused a lot of homelessness. What the city is trying to do is to solve that temporarily, at least, by building some tiny homes or trying to house them in other places. It's not part of the Denver real estate market.
Look at that, man. That's a prison, bro. Y'all see that little tiny home with that little bed that was next to it? And see, this is the part of the city that a lot of them don't show y'all. They don't show y'all all of the homelessness. They don't show y'all the tent cities. They don't show y'all people getting priced out. Crazy, bro.
40,000 migrants in 2023, and the mayor estimates that the city will need $100 million in 2024 to pay for their housing, schooling, healthcare, and other services.
No.
These costs have now led to budget cuts for local recreation centers and city services. But there could be a silver lining.
Long term, we benefit, of course, from the immigrant presence in our state. Again, as long as they have work permits and are legal.
The vacancies in our labor economy, right? So the top three are healthcare, information technology, and food service right now. So not just anybody can work in any job. And so there are obviously language barriers, education and workforce barriers. And so, I mean, there's no question that in this labor shortage, there are certainly opportunities for some of these migrants to work in these positions.
However,
and so ultimately what Democrat cities thought that they were going to do, part of what they thought that they were going to do, but the only person that's putting a linchpin in that is the Biden administration, because the Biden administration don't want to issue a whole bunch of overtly issuing work permits because they don't want to be looked at as the bad guy in an election year. But in reality, they leave and open the borders and they even letting criminals in, and they just going to say, hey, we just going to deal with whatever the consequences are, because the goal is to get these people work visas to fill jobs. And then ultimately they also fill in a part of the population for a lot of these cities that have an exodus out of them, like Chicago. And so then you add them to the tax rolls. And so they're investing a significant amount of taxpayer dollars to ultimately get their tax revenue up and then to make the city more vibrant again. You guys have basically invested in immigrant infrastructure, educating them, allowing for them to come in and take certain jobs that you don't want because it adds to the tax base and it also prevents them from having a declining population. But the problem is that they can't get the Biden administration to play ball. They're not issuing work visas. They're not allowing them to be able to become legal, but they leaving the borders open. And so this is one of the reasons why the migrant crisis is playing out, is because it always comes back down to the money, man.
However, the timeline to obtain a work permit is lengthy, and the associated costs can be prohibitive.
And I will get calls from CEOs every day who say to me, Mike, I saw you had 100 more migrants arrive today. I got 100 open jobs. Can I please hire them? And the frustrating part is we got folks here who want to work. We got employers who want to hire them. We have a federal government standing in the way to say that they can't go to work.
What did I just tell y'all? What did I just tell y'all? I have no time to be able to watch these clips before we review them in real time. They want the federal government to play ball since they leaving the borders open, but they can't during an election year because they're risking losing to Donald Trump in the election. And so they don't want to admit and say what they really want to do. And it's not about legal immigration. It's about illegal immigration, and then eventually turning them into a workforce, a slave workforce that ultimately feed into the economy and business owners in order to continue to keep this thing booming. And so they've done their part. They forwarded the money. They invested in this infrastructure. And ultimately, they can't get these migrant workers to be able to work because they can't get the federal government to be able to play ball. That's really what it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. It's a finesse. It's money, and it's coming on the behalf of the taxpayers and y'all, but they're not going to exactly tell you that. You got to use your context clues in order to put it together. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, enough is enough. We out here in these streets. Let me read a few more super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all out of here for the weekend. We got a lot coming up next week, so I'm going to remind y'all, for all of y'all that are new here. Christopher Chapman says, AD, do you think conservative pioneers will turn these small to mid-sized cities into new major cities? Will Birmingham and Louisville look like Atlanta or Pittsburgh? I think that that's a longer-term play. I think that all major cities will eventually become bigger. But I don't think that that's going to happen within the next 10 years. I think that that's more of a 20, 25, 30-year play. So maybe when you get older, yeah. But again, I think that that's a longer, bigger play. But we are experiencing a population decline as far as more people having less babies. But again, you let migrants in here, so we'll know. We'll see what happens. Tia Marie says, 80 for your consideration. Could you do a Patreon vid on what you do if you were starting YouTube new in 2024, pros, cons, types, or is it even worth it? Absolutely. Let me put it in my notes real quick. Give me a second. I'm going to put that on my notes. Yep, I got you, Tia Marie. Jay Ben says, 2,200 square feet with 2 acres minimum for farming and cars. Okay, I'm with that. I get it. A-Man01 says early bird gets the worm. That's a fact, though. All right, we're going to be doing some new testing out on this platform next week. We got the regular Millionaire Morning Show at the regular time, and then we're going to test out some new subjects and some new formats here and there. And then on top of that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got after hours tonight, and then get that Tiege Hanley 40% off your first order, plus 20% off your for life, and plus a free gift. All right. So we got a lot going on. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Seems like it's been a long week, man, a very long week. I'm about to head back over to the penthouse. I do plan on going live on Instagram at some point today. I'm not sure exactly when, but we'll get it in and we'll have it popping, all right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Why is people sending me offers to be able to buy parts of my channel, buy equity in my channel? You can't buy me unless you got $30 million. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.